I Am Rich Mindset, written and published by I Am Audiobooks. Wealth begins in the mind long before it manifests in your bank account. The concept of wealth extends far beyond the numerical value displayed on financial statements. It encompasses a state of being where your needs are met, your desires are fulfilled, and your life feels abundant in every dimension. True wealth is not merely what you possess, but how you perceive what you possess. It's the difference between looking at your life through the lens of enough versus the lens of lacking. Consider for a moment two people with identical resources. One feels perpetually deprived, constantly focusing on what others have that they don't. The other feels genuinely rich, appreciating what they have, while working toward greater abundance. These two people don't experience different realities. They experience the same reality differently. This distinction forms the foundation of the I Am Rich mindset. Lesson 1. Plenty of wealth. The human mind operates on deeply ingrained patterns of thought. When scarcity dominates your thinking, you unconsciously filter your experiences to confirm this belief. You notice what's missing rather than what's present. Your brain, designed to protect you, becomes hypervigilant about potential loss, making it difficult to recognize opportunities for gain. This scarcity mindset becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, leading to cautious decisions, missed opportunities, and a contracted experience of life. Contrast this with an abundance mindset, where your thoughts center on the plentiful nature of the universe. You recognize that resources, opportunities, and joy can be renewable and expansive. This perspective doesn't ignore legitimate financial concerns, but approaches them from a position of creative possibility rather than fearful limitation. When you genuinely believe in abundance, you make decisions that align with growth rather than protection, opening pathways to greater prosperity. The shift from scarcity to abundance thinking requires intentional practice. Begin by noticing the language you use around money and resources. Do you often say, "I can't afford that," or "that's too expensive"? These statements lock you into limitation. Instead, try, "That's not a priority for me right now," or "I'm choosing to direct my resources elsewhere." This simple reframing acknowledges your agency in financial decisions rather than positioning yourself as a victim of circumstance. Your relationship with money often mirrors deeper beliefs about your worthiness. Many people unconsciously believe they don't deserve prosperity. This belief might stem from childhood messages, religious interpretations, or cultural conditioning that glorifies struggle while demonizing wealth. Examine whether you hold any beliefs that prosperity is somehow spiritually or morally inferior to simplicity or poverty. Recognize that financial abundance enables generosity, impact, and the freedom to contribute your gifts fully to the world. Practical wealth building begins with gratitude for what you already possess. Each morning, acknowledge 3 aspects of abundance in your life. Perhaps a comfortable home, food security, or supportive relationships. This practice retrains your brain to scan for sufficiency rather than scarcity. Simultaneously, visualize the prosperity you're working toward, feeling the emotions of having already achieved your financial goals. This emotional rehearsal prepares your subconscious mind to recognize and act upon opportunities aligned with your vision. The physical environment often reflects and reinforces our inner beliefs about wealth. Consider how your living and working spaces either support or undermine your prosperity mindset. Clear clutter that suggests scarcity and disorganization. Position meaningful symbols of abundance where you'll regularly see them. Treat your current possessions with care and appreciation, demonstrating to yourself that you respect and value what you own. Financial education becomes particularly powerful when approached with an abundance mentality. Rather than learning about money management from a place of fear, approach it as an exciting opportunity to steward resources effectively. Study wealth principles with the assumption that you're capable of mastering them. Connect with people who demonstrate healthy financial habits and prosperity consciousness, allowing their mindset to influence yours positively. Genuine wealth always extends beyond the self. The wealthiest people, in the fullest sense of the term, find ways to create value for others. When your focus shifts from accumulation to contribution, you participate in the natural flow of abundance. Give generously without attachment to return, but with awareness that generosity often creates unexpected channels for prosperity to find its way back to you. Your declaration, "I am rich," serves as both an affirmation of your current blessings and a declaration of your expanding prosperity. By claiming this identity, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you're creating. Wealth becomes not just what you pursue, but who you are, a natural expression of your relationship with a universe of unlimited potential. Lesson 2. New friends and great companions in life. True wealth extends far beyond financial abundance. It manifests in the quality of our relationships. The people we surround ourselves with shape our experiences, influence our thinking, and contribute significantly to our sense of fulfillment. When we adopt an "I am rich" mindset, we naturally attract connections that reflect our inner state of abundance. Our relationships often mirror our self-perception. If you believe you're unworthy of deep, meaningful friendships, you'll unconsciously seek out people who reinforce this belief. Conversely, when you embody the mindset that you deserve rich, nurturing relationships, you become a magnet for people who recognize and honor your worth. This isn't mystical thinking. It's the practical result of how we present ourselves to the world. Consider Jane, who spent years in a cycle of disappointing friendships. Upon reflection, she realized she approached new connections from a place of lack, always wondering what others could do for her, rather than what she might contribute. When she shifted her perspective to "I am a valuable friend with much to offer," everything changed. She began engaging authentically, listening more deeply, and showing genuine interest in others. Within months, her social circle transformed completely. The quality of your relationships directly impacts your overall sense of wealth. Research consistently shows that people with strong social bonds live longer, healthier, and happier lives. A Harvard study spanning nearly 80 years found that close relationships were better predictors of long-term happiness and health than social class, IQ, or genetics. In essence, rich relationships make us rich in life. To cultivate great companions, we must first recognize that meaningful connections begin with presence. In our distraction-filled world, offering someone your full attention has become a rare gift. Practice putting away your phone during conversations, maintaining eye contact, and truly listening instead of simply waiting for your turn to speak. These simple acts communicate value and build trust, the foundation of any worthwhile relationship. Another powerful practice is to approach each interaction with genuine curiosity. Everyone carries unique stories, insights, and perspectives. When you engage with others from a place of wonder rather than judgment, you create space for authentic connection. Ask thoughtful questions that go beyond surface-level small talk. What are you passionate about? What's been your greatest lesson this year? What brings you joy? These questions invite people to share their true selves. Equally important is learning to release connections that drain rather than enrich. Not every relationship is meant to last a lifetime. Some serve a specific purpose during particular seasons. Recognizing when a relationship has fulfilled its purpose requires honesty and sometimes difficult decisions. This doesn't mean abruptly cutting people off, but rather allowing certain connections to naturally evolve or dissolve as you grow. The "I am rich" mindset also invites us to expand our definition of meaningful companionship. Beyond friendships and romantic partnerships, consider mentors who guide your development, colleagues who collaborate towards shared goals, or even casual acquaintances who bring unexpected perspectives. Each relationship offers its own form of richness. Cultivating a supportive network requires intention and consistency. Make a practice of reaching out regularly to those you value. Share appreciation freely and specifically, acknowledging the unique ways each person enriches your life. Create traditions that strengthen bonds, monthly dinners, annual trips, or weekly check-ins. These rhythms build relationship equity that sustains connections through life's inevitable challenges. Vulnerability strengthens rather than weakens relationships. When you share your authentic hopes, fears, and struggles, you create space for others to do the same. This mutual openness builds intimacy and trust that superficial interactions never can. The richest relationships are those where both people feel truly seen and accepted. As you consciously develop an "I am rich in relationships" mindset, you'll notice shifts in how you interact with everyone. From the barista preparing your morning coffee to your closest confidants, you'll approach each encounter with greater presence, authenticity, and generosity. Over time, these small shifts create a powerful ripple effect, attracting like-minded souls who value connection as deeply as you do. The wealth of great companions may not appear on any balance sheet, but its impact resonates through every aspect of your life. By intentionally cultivating rich relationships, you create a support system that enhances your joys and lightens your burdens. A true embodiment of the "I am rich" mindset in action. Lesson 3. Safety from every threat. In a world filled with uncertainties, the concept of safety has become increasingly valuable. True wealth includes the ability to face life's challenges with a sense of security and inner peace. The "I am rich" mindset recognizes that genuine safety doesn't come from external circumstances alone, but emerges from within through our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. Safety begins in the mind. When we declare "I am safe," we activate powerful psychological forces that help us navigate threats with clarity and confidence. This isn't about denying real dangers, but about approaching them from a position of strength rather than fear. Think about how differently you handle challenges when you're consumed by worry versus when you feel centered and protected. Your response to potential threats shifts dramatically based on your internal state. The wealthy mindset cultivates psychological safety by developing trust in one's ability to handle whatever comes. This inner security creates a foundation for making sound decisions even during turbulent times. Consider how many poor choices stem from panic or desperation rather than reasoned thinking. By fostering a sense of safety within, you create the mental space needed to respond rather than react. This inner fortress doesn't develop overnight. It requires intentional practice and conscious awareness of our thought patterns. When we catch ourselves spiraling into worst-case scenarios, we can gently redirect our minds to evidence of our resilience and capacity to overcome. Remember the challenges you've already navigated successfully. Your track record of survival is 100 so far, which provides concrete evidence for your ability to handle difficulty. Financial security represents another crucial aspect of safety. The wealthy mindset approaches money decisions from a place of wisdom, rather than fear or impulsivity. This means creating structures that protect your assets while allowing them to grow. Emergency funds, appropriate insurance, diversified investments, and thoughtful planning. These practical steps emerge naturally from a mind that values safety without being controlled by financial anxiety. Yet, true safety goes beyond physical and financial protection. Emotional resilience serves as perhaps the most valuable safety net. When you develop the ability to process difficult emotions without being overwhelmed by them, you gain immunity against many of life's most significant threats. The "I am rich" mindset recognizes that emotional strength comes through embracing vulnerability rather than avoiding it. By facing our fears directly, they lose their power over us. Practices that build this unshakable inner security include daily meditation, which trains the mind to remain calm amid chaos. Regular journaling helps identify recurring fears and put them in perspective. Physical exercise builds confidence in your body's capabilities. Developing supportive relationships creates a network of resources during challenging times. These practices don't eliminate threats, but transform your relationship with them. The wealthy mindset also distinguishes between productive caution and paralyzing fear. Productive caution acknowledges potential dangers and takes reasonable precautions. Paralyzing fear magnifies threats and prevents meaningful action. Ask yourself, is this concern helping me take wise precautions, or is it preventing me from living fully? This simple question can help recalibrate your response to perceived threats. Many people inadvertently strengthen their fears by constantly rehearsing potential disasters. The I am rich approach redirects this mental energy toward envisioning positive outcomes while taking practical steps to address genuine risks. This balanced approach acknowledges reality while maintaining optimism and agency. Safety from every threat ultimately comes from knowing that whatever happens, you possess the inner resources to respond appropriately. This confidence doesn't develop through avoiding challenges, but through mindfully engaging with them. Each time you successfully navigate difficulty, you strengthen your belief in your capacity to handle future threats. The wealthiest people aren't those who face the fewest dangers, but those who've developed the internal stability to remain centered, regardless of external circumstances. This unshakable core becomes a source of power that money alone cannot buy. When you cultivate this kind of safety, you possess a treasure that cannot be stolen or diminished by market fluctuations. True wealth includes the peaceful sleep that comes from knowing you're prepared for life's uncertainties without being consumed by worry about them. This is the gift of the I am safe mindset, not freedom from all potential danger, but freedom from a tyranny of fear itself. Lesson 4. Recovery from so-called untreatable diseases. The mind possesses a remarkable, often underestimated power to influence our physical well-being. While modern medicine has made extraordinary advances, there remains a mysterious territory where healing occurs beyond what science can fully explain. This chapter explores how our mindset can become an ally in recovery, even when faced with conditions labeled as untreatable. Consider Maria, diagnosed with an aggressive autoimmune condition. After years of declining health, despite following every medical protocol, she reached a turning point when she decided to transform her relationship with her illness. Rather than seeing herself as a victim of a cruel biological mistake, she began to view her body as an intelligent system that had gone off track, but could be guided back toward balance. Each morning, she would place her hands over the affected areas and repeat, "I am healing. My cells know exactly what to do." Within 6 months, her doctors were astonished by her improved lab results, eventually using the term remission, a word they had never expected to use in her case. This isn't to suggest that serious health conditions can be overcome through positive thinking alone. Rather, the I am rich mindset acknowledges that our thoughts and beliefs form a critical component of any healing protocol. When we maintain a healing consciousness, we make different decisions, interpret symptoms differently, and most importantly, activate different biochemical responses within our bodies. The placebo effect offers compelling evidence of this mind-body connection. In clinical trials, patients given inert substances often experience genuine physiological improvements simply because they believe they're receiving effective treatment. This isn't imaginary. Researchers have documented measurable changes in brain chemistry, immune response, and inflammatory markers triggered solely by the expectation of healing. What if we could harness this innate ability consciously rather than relying on external deception? James, a cancer survivor, credits his recovery partly to visualization practices he performed alongside his chemotherapy. During each treatment, I would imagine the medication as golden light and my immune cells as powerful warriors working in harmony with the medicine, he explains. My oncologist can't prove it made a difference, but she supports my practice because she's seen too many cases where attitude seems to correlate with outcomes. Developing a healing mindset begins with language. Notice how you refer to your condition. Is it my disease or the disease? Do you see yourself as fighting against something or healing with your body's innate wisdom? These subtle distinctions create entirely different internal experiences and potentially different physiological responses. The nocebo effect, essentially the negative version of the placebo, demonstrates how harmful limiting beliefs can be. When patients are told a procedure will be painful, they typically experience more pain than those given neutral or positive expectations. Similarly, when we internalize statements like "this is incurable" or "you'll have this for life," we may inadvertently program our bodies to fulfill these prophecies. Ryan, diagnosed with a degenerative disc disease, recalls how his recovery journey began when he changed doctors. "My first specialist showed me my scan and essentially said I would always be in pain. My second looked at the same scan but focused on potential improvements through targeted exercise and stress reduction. Within weeks of working with the second doctor, I felt a difference, not because my spine had suddenly changed, but because my relationship with my condition had transformed." This healing mindset extends beyond physical ailments to encompass mental health challenges as well. Depression, anxiety, and trauma responses were once considered permanent aspects of one's personality or chemistry. Today, neuroplasticity research confirms that the brain can form new neural pathways and healing connections throughout life. To cultivate your own healing consciousness, begin by examining the health narratives you've accepted. Question prognoses that limit possibilities while remaining realistically engaged with necessary treatments. Seek healthcare providers who view you as a whole person, not just a collection of symptoms. Implement daily practices that signal safety and healing to your nervous system, whether through meditation, appropriate movement, or creative expression. The "I am rich" mindset around health doesn't deny the reality of physical conditions, but expands the possibilities of how we can relate to them. By claiming our inherent wholeness even amid illness, we access resources within ourselves that conventional approaches might miss, creating the potential for recovery that surpasses expectations and enriches our experience of living, regardless of outcome. Lesson 5. Letting go of negative thoughts about yourself and avoiding harsh judgments. Our thoughts are powerful architects of our reality. Every word we speak to ourselves shapes the foundation of our self-worth, influences our decisions, and ultimately determines what we believe is possible. Yet for many of us, the voice inside our head is not a cheerleader, but a harsh critic. A relentless judge that continuously finds fault with our appearance, abilities, decisions, and worth. This internal criticism is perhaps the greatest obstacle to experiencing true richness in life. When we constantly berate ourselves, we create a prison of our own making. "I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. I'll never achieve what others have." These toxic thoughts drain our energy, diminish our confidence, and close doors of opportunity before we even approach them. The first step toward freedom is awareness. Begin noticing when negative self-talk arises. Often these thoughts operate below our conscious awareness, so bringing them into the light requires intention. When you catch yourself in self-criticism, pause. Ask yourself, would I speak this way to someone I love? The answer is almost always no. This simple question creates a moment of separation between you and the thought, revealing that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness observing them. Our harsh self-judgments rarely exist in isolation. They typically stem from beliefs we've internalized from childhood experiences, cultural messages, or painful past events. Perhaps a teacher once told you that you weren't creative. A parent repeatedly suggested you weren't smart enough, or society implied your worth was tied to your appearance or achievements. These messages, absorbed during vulnerable moments, become the foundation for our adult self-criticism. Releasing these beliefs requires gentle archaeological work, digging into their origins without judgment. When you identify a limiting belief, like "I'm not worthy of success," trace it back. When did you first believe this? What evidence have you gathered to support it? What evidence contradicts it that you might be overlooking? This inquiry often reveals that our harshest beliefs are based on outdated information, misinterpretations, or standards that were never truly our own. Forgiveness is the next essential practice. Many of us carry shame about past mistakes, holding ourselves to impossible standards of perfection. Every decision you made in the past was made with the awareness, resources, and capacity you had at that time. If you could have done better, you would have. This understanding opens the door to self-compassion, the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a good friend facing similar circumstances. As you work to release negative self-talk, be mindful not to replace it with harsh judgments of others. Often, our criticisms of others mirror our deepest insecurities about ourselves. When you notice yourself judging someone harshly, use it as an opportunity for self-reflection. What might this judgment reveal about your own fears or unhealed wounds? Developing a compassionate inner voice takes consistent practice. Begin by speaking to yourself as you would to a cherished child or friend. When you make a mistake, rather than launching into self-criticism, try saying "that didn't go as planned. But it's okay. What can I learn from this?" This small shift from judgment to curiosity creates space for growth rather than shame. Another powerful practice is to regularly acknowledge your strengths and successes. Many of us have been conditioned to dismiss compliments and minimize achievements while amplifying our perceived failures. Balance this tendency by keeping a daily log of things you did well, challenges you faced with courage, or moments when you showed kindness to yourself or others. The language we use about ourselves eventually becomes our reality. When you catch yourself using absolute terms like "never," "always," or "everyone," challenge these generalizations. Replace "I always mess up presentations" with the more accurate "I felt nervous during parts of my last presentation, and other sections went well." As you release negative self-talk, you'll discover that what once seemed like truth was merely a habit, one that can be unlearned and replaced. With each compassionate thought, you're building a new neural pathway. The old critical patterns don't disappear overnight, but gradually their power diminishes as your self-compassion grows stronger. True wealth includes the ability to rest in self-acceptance, not as a distant goal to be achieved through perfection, but as your natural state in this moment, exactly as you are. When you free yourself from the tyranny of harsh self-judgment, you create space for joy, creativity, and authentic connection. This inner freedom may be the greatest richness of all. Lesson 6. Public praise, respect, and acknowledgment. We all desire to be seen, understood, and appreciated. The recognition we receive from others can feel like the sweetest form of wealth, a validation that our existence matters and our contributions have value. Yet this form of wealth remains elusive when we approach it from the outside in, desperately seeking approval rather than cultivating it from within. True recognition begins with self-recognition. When you fully acknowledge your own worth, talents, and unique gifts, you establish the foundation upon which all external validation naturally builds. This isn't about arrogance or an inflated sense of self-importance. Rather, it's about honest self-assessment and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are, both your strengths and your limitations. The wealthy mindset regarding recognition operates from abundance rather than scarcity. Those lacking inner wealth believe that recognition is a limited resource, leading them to compete for attention, downplay others' achievements, or feel threatened when colleagues succeed. In contrast, the "I am rich" mindset celebrates others genuinely, knowing that recognition expands rather than diminishes when shared. Your reputation, what others think and say about you when you're not in the room, is built gradually through consistent actions aligned with your values. It cannot be manufactured or hastily constructed. People with an impoverished mindset often try to create a carefully curated image, but this facade inevitably crumbles. The wealthy mindset understands that authentic excellence speaks for itself and that integrity matters more than image. When you focus on providing genuine value and serving others with your unique gifts, recognition follows naturally as a byproduct. Those who directly pursue fame or accolades often find themselves disappointed, as these external markers prove hollow when they become the primary goal. The wealthy mindset reverses this approach, focusing first on excellence and service, allowing recognition to arrive in its own time. How we handle criticism reveals our true wealth of character. Those with a poverty mindset either crumble under criticism or become defensive and hostile. The "I am rich" mindset welcomes constructive feedback as valuable information, separating useful insights from unfair attacks without losing center. This balanced response to criticism demonstrates a security that others naturally respect. Your personal presence, how you carry yourself, speak, and engage with others, communicates volumes about your inner wealth. The confident ease that comes from self-acceptance creates a natural charisma that draws others to you. This isn't about extroversion or social dominance. Even quiet, reserved people can possess remarkable presence when they're comfortable in their own skin. Professional recognition particularly flourishes when you identify and develop your distinctive strengths rather than trying to be marginally good at everything. The wealthy mindset invests deeply in core competencies, creating a signature style or approach that becomes immediately recognizable. When you become known for doing something in a way that only you can, recognition becomes inevitable. The "I am rich" approach to acknowledgment also involves giving as well as receiving, becoming skilled at recognizing excellence in others, offering specific praise rather than generic compliments, and shining light on overlooked contributions all demonstrate a generosity of spirit that others naturally wish to reciprocate. This creates a positive cycle of recognition that enriches everyone involved. Social media has complicated our relationship with public recognition, creating artificial metrics and encouraging comparison. The wealthy mindset maintains perspective about these platforms, using them mindfully without becoming enslaved to likes and follows. True recognition transcends algorithms and exists in authentic human connection. Perhaps most importantly, the "I am rich" mindset maintains balance between valuing external recognition and remaining independent from it. When public praise arrives, it's received with genuine gratitude and humility. When it's absent despite deserving work, inner wealth provides the security to continue creating value regardless. This emotional independence, the ability to appreciate recognition without requiring it, presents perhaps the greatest wealth of all. Lesson 7. A fresh energy and enthusiasm for living. Have you ever watched children at play? Their boundless energy, their complete absorption in the moment, their endless curiosity about the world around them. That vibrant enthusiasm for life isn't just the domain of the young. It's your natural state, simply waiting to be reclaimed. Many of us move through our days with a sense of heaviness, dragging ourselves from one obligation to the next, wondering where our zest for life has gone. We reminisce about times when we felt more alive, more engaged, more excited about the possibilities each day held. The good news is that this energy hasn't disappeared. It has merely been buried beneath layers of routine, responsibility, and perhaps disappointment. The first step in reclaiming your enthusiasm is recognizing that energy is not just physical, but emotional and spiritual as well. When we're aligned with our purpose and engaged in activities that resonate with our authentic selves, energy flows naturally. Consider a time when you were so absorbed in an activity that you lost track of time. That state, what psychologists call flow, is where our highest energy exists. Purpose is the fuel for sustainable enthusiasm. Without a compelling why behind our actions, even the simplest tasks can feel draining. Take a moment to reflect on what truly matters to you. What contribution do you want to make? What legacy do you wish to leave? When your daily activities connect to these deeper motivations, you'll find yourself naturally energized by the meaning behind your efforts. Many people mistakenly believe that rest is the opposite of energy, but true restoration is actually its foundation. Quality sleep, periods of reflection, and genuine downtime aren't luxuries. They're essential investments in your vitality. In our hyper-connected world, the constant stream of information and stimulation depletes our mental resources. Creating boundaries around technology and building in regular periods of silence and solitude allows your internal batteries to recharge. Gratitude is perhaps the most underrated energy source available to us. When we actively appreciate the good in our lives, from the warmth of sunshine on our skin to the kindness of a stranger, we shift our focus from what's depleting to what's enriching. Begin each day by acknowledging 3 specific things you're grateful for, and watch how this simple practice transforms your perception and elevates your energy. Physical vitality underlies all other forms of energy. Your body is designed for movement, and regular physical activity doesn't just strengthen your muscles. It clears your mind, balances your emotions, and even generates new brain cells. Find forms of movement that bring you joy rather than feeling like punishment. Whether it's dancing in your living room, hiking in nature, or practicing yoga, the best exercise is the one you'll actually do consistently. Nutrition plays an equally important role in sustaining energy. Rather than thinking of food as merely calories or comfort, recognize it as information for your cells and fuel for your day. Focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods that give you steady energy, rather than the brief highs and inevitable crashes that come from processed foods and sugar. Environment shapes energy in profound ways. Clutter, noise, and chaos subtly drain your resources, while beauty, order, and inspiration elevate them. Look around your living and working spaces. Do they energize or deplete you? Even small changes like clearing a desk, adding plants, or creating a dedicated space for activities you love can significantly impact your enthusiasm. Relationships either enhance or diminish our energy. Surround yourself with people who inspire support and challenge you to grow. Limit time with those who consistently leave you feeling drained or diminished. This doesn't mean avoiding all difficult conversations or challenging relationships, but rather being intentional about how you invest your relational energy. Enthusiasm is contagious. When you approach life with genuine passion and interest, you naturally inspire others. This creates a positive cycle where your enthusiasm generates energy in those around you, which in turn fuels your own vitality. Begin expressing authentic appreciation and curiosity in your interactions, and watch how this transforms the energy of your relationships. Reclaiming your enthusiasm isn't about forcing yourself to feel excited all the time. Rather, it's about removing the obstacles to your natural state of engagement and aliveness. When you align your actions with your values, care for your physical well-being, cultivate gratitude, and surround yourself with positive influences, that childlike wonder and energy begins to flow again. Not as a momentary state, but as your way of being in the world. Lesson 8. Harmony and joy in a marriage where there was once conflict. Marriage represents one of life's most profound wealth opportunities. A partnership where 2 people build a shared treasure of experiences, memories, and growth. Yet many find themselves trapped in cycles of conflict, wondering how the initial promise of companionship transformed into a battleground of misunderstandings and hurt feelings. The truth is that harmony in marriage is not accidental. It emerges from intentional mindset shifts that prioritize connection over correctness. Consider the case of Elena and Marcus, who after 12 years of marriage found themselves barely speaking, communicating mainly through terse text messages about household logistics. Their relationship, once vibrant with passion and shared dreams, had become transactional. The turning point came not when both agreed to change simultaneously, which rarely happens, but when Elena embraced the "I am rich in love" mindset. Rather than waiting for Marcus to transform first, she decided to embody the partner she wished to have. She replaced her critical thoughts with appreciation, focusing on what Marcus did well rather than his shortcomings. This shift wasn't instantaneous or easy. For weeks, Marcus remained suspicious, assuming Elena's newfound warmth was manipulation or would soon disappear. But her consistency eventually created safety, allowing him to lower his defenses. The relationship began healing, not because both changed at once, but because one partner's transformation created space for the other to follow. The "I am" approach to marriage recognizes that we largely experience our own projections. When we believe our spouse is selfish, we notice every instance that confirms this belief while overlooking evidence to the contrary. The wealthy mindset acknowledges that what we focus on expands. By deliberately directing attention to the positive aspects of our partner, we enhance these qualities in our relationship experience. This doesn't mean ignoring genuine problems. Rather, it means approaching challenges from a foundation of goodwill and partnership instead of criticism and blame. When Daniel discovered his wife had accumulated significant credit card debt, his initial reaction was rage at what he perceived as betrayal. However, by pausing to access his "I am secure" mindset, he approached the conversation with curiosity instead of condemnation. This created space for his wife to share her feelings of financial inadequacy and the shame that had prevented her from discussing the growing problem. Their financial challenge became an opportunity for deeper intimacy rather than greater distance. By choosing to see themselves as a team facing a problem together rather than opponents, they created a solution that strengthened their bond rather than weakening it. Physical intimacy also transforms through mindset work. Many couples experience diminished passion not because of fading attraction, but because of accumulated resentments and unexpressed needs. When we adopt the "I am deserving of pleasure" and "I am a generous partner" mindsets, we create the psychological safety necessary for vulnerability and desire to flourish. This often requires releasing past disappointments and choosing to experience our partner anew, rather than through the lens of history. The wealthiest marriages are those where both partners maintain their individuality while creating a shared identity. This delicate balance requires the "I am complete" mindset, recognizing that your partner's role is to complement your life, not complete it. Expecting another person to fulfill all your emotional needs places an impossible burden on the relationship. By cultivating friendships, interests, and spiritual practices that nourish you independently, you bring a fuller self to your partnership. Communication shifts dramatically when approached with the "I am understood" mindset. Instead of speaking defensively or accusatorially, this perspective allows for open expression without attacking. It recognizes that understanding doesn't always mean agreement, creating space for respectful difference. This mindset also enhances listening, as we become less focused on formulating our response and more present to our partner's experience. The most profound wealth in marriage comes from weathering difficulties together and emerging stronger. Each challenge overcome becomes part of the relationship's equity, proof of resilience that builds confidence for facing future obstacles. By embracing the "I am" growing through this mindset during inevitable conflicts, couples transform potential breaking points into strengthening moments. True relationship wealth isn't measured by absence of disagreement, but by the wisdom, tenderness, and understanding developed through navigating life's complexities together. When both partners commit to the mindset of mutual growth, even the most troubled marriage can transform into a source of abundant joy, security, and fulfillment. Lesson 9. Calmness in this shifting world. In a world that never stops changing, true wealth manifests as inner calmness. The ability to remain centered while everything around you transforms is perhaps one of life's greatest treasures. This calmness isn't passive resignation, but rather an active state of inner peace that allows you to navigate life's inevitable changes with grace and wisdom. Most people live in reaction to external circumstances. When the world shifts, whether through technological disruption, economic uncertainty, or social upheaval, they experience tremendous anxiety. Their peace depends entirely on conditions they cannot control. But those with an I am rich mindset understand that authentic calmness comes from within, not from favorable external conditions. Consider the image of a lighthouse standing firm amidst crashing waves. The lighthouse doesn't fight the ocean or attempt to calm the storm. It simply remains steadfast, fulfilling its purpose regardless of external turbulence. This is the epitome of calmness in a shifting world. Not an absence of storms, but an unshakable presence within them. Developing this inner stability begins with accepting the fundamental nature of existence. Change is constant. Resistance to this truth creates suffering. When we mentally argue with reality, demanding permanence in an impermanent world, we create inner turmoil. The wealthy mindset embraces change as natural and inevitable, conserving precious energy that would otherwise be wasted fighting against life's flow. This acceptance doesn't mean passive surrender to circumstances. Rather, it means responding to change from a centered place rather than reacting from fear. A simple practice to cultivate this quality involves pausing before responding to unsettling news or situations. In that pause lies your freedom, the space where you can choose calmness rather than automatically reacting with anxiety or fear. Your relationship with information also significantly impacts your sense of calmness. In our digital age, we're bombarded with news designed to trigger emotional responses. Those with the I am rich mindset are intentional about their information diet. They stay informed without becoming overwhelmed, understanding that constant exposure to crisis-oriented media disrupts inner peace, creating boundaries around media consumption, perhaps checking news once daily rather than hourly. Physical practices further anchor this calmness. Regular meditation, even for just 10 minutes daily, trains your nervous system to maintain equilibrium regardless of external circumstances. The simple act of focusing on your breath, something always available to you, becomes an anchor during turbulent times. Through consistent practice, you develop the ability to access calmness at will, rather than having your state determined by external events. Nature serves as another powerful resource for cultivating calmness. Spending time outdoors, observing the rhythms of the natural world, reminds us that change occurs within larger patterns of stability. The seasons change, yet the cycle itself remains constant. The weather shifts, yet the sky endures. By aligning with nature's wisdom, we absorb this fundamental balance of change within continuity. Financial decisions made from a place of reactivity often lead to regret. The I am rich mindset approaches economic shifts with measured response rather than panic. During market downturns, while others might sell investments in fear, those with inner calmness can assess situations clearly, often recognizing opportunities where others see only threat. This equanimity translates directly into material wealth preservation and growth. In relationships, too, calmness creates wealth. When you remain centered during conflict or change, you communicate more effectively and make wiser choices about connection. Rather than becoming defensive or withdrawing when relationships face challenges, you can stay present and responsive, preserving the invaluable wealth of meaningful human bonds. Your perspective on time also influences your experience of calmness. Living primarily in thoughts about the past or anxieties about the future creates inner turbulence. The I am rich mindset anchors awareness in the present moment, where true peace is always available. This doesn't mean ignoring appropriate planning or reflection, but rather conducting these activities from a centered present, moment awareness. Calmness in a shifting world isn't about controlling external circumstances, but mastering your internal landscape. As you develop this capacity, you'll find yourself moving through life with greater ease, making better decisions, preserving your energy, and experiencing the profound wealth of inner peace, regardless of what changes arise around you. This unshakable center becomes your greatest asset in navigating life's inevitable transformations. Lesson 10. The happiness of a prayer fulfilled. There exists a special form of wealth that transcends all material possessions and external achievements. It is the profound contentment that comes when a heartfelt prayer manifests in your life. This fulfillment represents the ultimate richness, a testament to the power of your deepest beliefs and the connection between your inner world and outer reality. When we speak of prayer in the context of the I am rich mindset, we're not necessarily referring to traditional religious practice, though it certainly can be. Instead, we're acknowledging that inner yearning, that heartfelt plea or intention that you've held close, perhaps for years. It's that vision you've nurtured through difficult times, the hope that sustained you when evidence of its manifestation was nowhere to be found. What makes the fulfillment of such prayers so powerful is the journey they take us on. The path from desire to manifestation rarely unfolds as a straight line. There are detours, obstacles, and moments of doubt that test not just our patience but our faith in the possibility itself. Through these challenges, we develop qualities that no amount of money could buy: perseverance, surrender, trust, and an unshakable belief in something greater than our limited perception. Consider how time shifts when you're in pursuit of a heartfelt prayer. Days, months, or even years of waiting collapse into a single moment of realization when you recognize that what you've been seeking has arrived, perhaps in a form you didn't initially expect. This recognition creates a unique type of happiness that cannot be replicated through instant gratification or momentary pleasures. It carries the weight of your investment, the texture of your growth, and the sweetness of divine timing. The fulfilled prayer also teaches us about our own creative power. Each of us holds the capacity to envision something that does not yet exist and to participate in bringing it into being. This co-creative relationship with life itself constitutes a form of wealth that remains perpetually available to us, regardless of external circumstances. Once you've experienced the manifestation of something you deeply desired and faithfully anticipated, you develop an unshakable knowing that you can do it again. This confidence becomes a foundation upon which you can build your life. Notice that when prayers are fulfilled, they often bring with them an unexpected ripple effect. The specific thing you asked for arrives, but with it comes a cascade of additional blessings you hadn't explicitly requested. This multiplication effect reminds us of the abundant nature of the universe, rarely giving us exactly what we ask for, but instead responding with an overflowing measure that addresses needs we didn't even know we had. Learning to recognize answered prayers is itself an art form. Sometimes we become so focused on the specific form we believe our answer should take that we miss the fulfillment when it arrives differently. The I am rich mindset includes developing the discernment to see beyond form to essence, understanding that the universe often delivers the energy or quality we seek, rather than the exact picture we imagined. This flexibility of perception enables us to receive more fully and appreciate the wisdom behind how our prayers manifest. There is also profound wealth in the space between asking and receiving. During this gap, we learn to cultivate presence, appreciation for what already exists, and the ability to find joy regardless of external conditions. Paradoxically, this state of contentment before fulfillment often accelerates the manifestation process, as we release the desperate energy of grasping and enter the magnetic state of knowing and allowing. The ultimate wealth of a fulfilled prayer lies not just in having your desire materialize, but in the person you become through the process. Each sincere prayer changes you from within, aligning you more closely with your authentic self and with the creative principles that govern our universe. You emerge with expanded capacity, deeper wisdom, and a more nuanced understanding of how to partner with life. As you reflect on prayers that have been answered in your life, let the evidence of these fulfillments strengthen your trust in what's still unfolding. The same force that has orchestrated the manifestations you've already witnessed continues to work on your behalf, weaving together circumstances and possibilities that your limited perspective cannot yet see. This knowing itself, that you are supported, guided, and responded to, constitutes the richest mindset one could possibly cultivate.